The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has officially handed over its interim report to President Ramaphosa in accordance to its deadline. In 45 days, the Commission has heard 37 witness testimonies into allegations of criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system. Since its establishment, the Commission has received some 28 walk-in submissions and 45 others through the Commission's hotline. While the interim report remains private, it's expected to outline the magnitude of the testimonies heard so far and inform part of its second phase. Now, the Presidency has said that releasing the interim report would be reckless, as there is still more work to be done. Let's discuss this now with legal analyst Melusi Xulu. Good morning, and it's always lovely chatting with you.
Good morning, Ms. Chavan, to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the details, Melusi, let's start here. The Presidency has stated that President Ramaphosa has no legal obligation to release this interim report. Now, in plain language, does the President actually have to show us what the Commission has found so far, or is he legally entitled to keep it under wraps?
He has the right to keep it under wraps, as you say, if he believes it's not in the public interest to release it at the time. I think if you listen to the President or to Mr. Mangwenya, he say they don't want to give a half-baked report where it can be chewed and debated on, which means there are certain things they want to protect. There are certain witnesses who still need to come back and testify. And although the witness D situation has not really been proven, as far as I've seen, to be entirely linked to the Commission, they want to avoid situations like this. So giving a report now in the interim might destabilize a certain processes or plans. So it's better to just get it properly what is happening. Especially Mr. Mangwenya said the President has been busy, so he also wants to study it and be used to what is going on the Commission. Then the full report, when it's done, it will be given on the final report, which I think maybe it's not what we would want as the citizens, but I think it's fair to take precautions and be safe on the way forward.
And speaking of the citizens, does the public have a legal right to see interim findings when they relate to alleged corruption and organized crime within the state?
Well, yes, they may have a right. Look, maybe if there are certain members of society that want the reports to be made public, they can possibly have certain rights that they can take to court and ask for it to be released. It's up to those who are interested. But I am of the view that I do believe that the final reports will be given, and maybe we just have to be patient until it's given. I think what I've thought about, Ms. Chaba, is just that I think some of us, we want to see how the panel or the commissioners have thought about the processes so far, because we know what happened. We've watched it. It's been publicized, but we want to get their thought process on what they believe should be the recommendations. I think that's what we are curious about. But I do believe let's be patient and wait for everything to unfold properly, because there's still some witnesses that need to come and some evidence that will come. And then when it's done properly, we will get the final report.
And Melusi, what does the law say an interim report actually is? I mean, is it evidence, is it guidance, or merely a work-in-progress memo?
I think I like your last statement. It's a work-in-progress memo. And remember, on the terms of reference, what the panel suggests could be recommendations, could be further investigations. And certain instances, even in the interim report, if the panel believes or the commissioners believe that there should be matters that must be taken to the NPA at the stage, if it's urgent, I think that can be also recommended, because you can't wait until the final report for people to be arrested if there are alleged crimes, which there is prima facie case and there is evidence that they've been committed. So it is a work in progress report. But if there are certain instances that warrant certain actions to be taken, I do believe they will be taken, despite the final report not yet being handed, because there are certain issues that still need to be investigated.
And of course, the president, through the presidency, has assured that this is something that the president is quite keen on and as soon as possible. But could accused parties themselves challenge the secrecy of the interim report?
If they do want, they can. Obviously, it's their right. But I think at the moment, if you believe there's certain things to be challenged, you can still have your time at the commission if you've been accused. For example, you can ask to be heard at the commission if you believe you've been accused. So this has happened as well with the former minister or the minister that is on leave, Mr. Mxulu, had this time to speak on the commission, Brian and others. I do believe maybe Mr. Madlanga will also have his time as well because he's also linked there and there. So if you're an accused or there's been allegations about you and you really need to have your case being heard, you can just submit to the commission and ask to bring evidence if you believe so, rather than forcing the report because what else can be said that you'll find to be different other than to come and defend yourself. I think the wise option would be to challenge what has been said about you and ask to come and present your case at the commission.
Now, the president, with him wanting immediate criminal referrals, how can criminal referrals proceed immediately if the interim report itself is deemed incomplete?
Remember, the final reports or the work of the commission is to give recommendations and to say whether there should be further investigations or whether there should be criminal referrals, as you are saying. But if there is sufficient evidence in the interim report, there's nothing that stops the NPA from doing its work because the more this delay, I mean, the more it will not be possible at certain instances to be able to work in a faster way. So if there's evidence now, I do believe the criminal referrals should be acted upon. And that will also showing that despite the fact that there's, negative optics on the criminal justice system, by fast action being taken at this point, if there's evidence, I think it will show that there is this functionality at NPA, at the SAPS and other stakeholders. So if there are criminal referrals right now, Ms. Chava, they should be acted upon if there's sufficient evidence.
And I just wanted a little bit more clarity on that. Like with criminal charges, if they are laid now based on, incomplete findings, so to say, what protections exist for the accused? Could premature referrals compromise future prosecutions or expose the state to civil liability?
Yeah. Like in any other case, if there's a criminal investigation that has been opened and it's later has been proven that there was insufficient evidence at the stage and your case has been withdrawn or you win it at a trial, you can always have challenge the state based on unlawful arrest or a malicious prosecution. So you always have that right. So I think it will depend on that, whether at the end of the day, there wasn't insufficient evidence. And also remember, as an accused, the Section 35 rights in the Constitution, which talk about the rights to a fair trial, those rights will be applicable to you at the time, which are not applicable at the commission. But I do believe, Ms. Chava, that if it happens that there is sufficient evidence, for example, if there's been evidence of bribery that has been proven, and there's something that the SAPS can link and find that there's sufficient evidence for those charges to be opened, why would you wait until 3 or 4 months later when you can do your job? And as I said, Ms. Chaba, if they do that now and there's sufficient evidence, that will show the functionality of the stakeholders in the criminal justice system.
Fair enough. And now, Melusi, the big question would be, does keeping the interim report secret strengthen justice or does it undermine public confidence?
It depends from what position are you standing from. If you believe that it should be made public because you are curious about what has been done so far, it will make sense for you to say maybe it does not really show, and transparency from the president or from the presidency. But I believe that having an interim report being given to the public now, when, as the presidency said, is half-baked, I don't think it's wise. Rather wait and investigate properly. And then if there is criminal referral that can be done right now and there's sufficient evidence, that will also make the public to believe in the criminal justice system as well. So for me, I believe patience and wait for the final report. But if there's criminal referrals, why wait until the final report if there's sufficient evidence?
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Melusi.
Siyabonga.
That was legal analyst Melusi Xulu.